Hello. Welcome back. This is Alfred. So today, let's go ahead and continue from where we stopped. All right. So this is where we stopped last time, and I remember. Let's go ahead and pull request on our Git. Let's see. We have a change. So this is the last change. So this is from part number 2. And this is part number 3. So this is from last time we did this UI. I did not commit it, but before I do a commit, let's go ahead and do a fetch request. So nothing is staged. So now we can commit this and call it UI design commit all. And I am also going to push it to our repository, which is fine. So yeah, now that we have that all done, taken care of, basically cleaning up from where we stopped last time, let's go ahead and do our user control. So when you look at this user control, you see a couple items here. You see the title. So I just want to see if I can explain this better before we start doing it, because when we start doing it, it will look like magic. It will look a little confusing. I still get confused when I'm doing it myself. So this is a title, a label, a text block. So that's what we are using. So we are representing the title of our whatever we'll be putting in here in title. So we'll call it title. Then we have a text box. So this is where user will be inputting an item here. So we will also have this text block here. So this will show the 0, which will be one text block, which will show us the current number of text here. In this case, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In this case, it will be 7. Then we'll have another text block, which is the slash sign, and we'll have another text block, which will be our maximum length. So all this information that we just went over is very important to think of when we are constructing our user control. Make sense? All right, let's go ahead and start constructing our user control. So go back to your solution explorer, and we want to create a new, okay, so I want to keep this main window and create a new window, but with a user control. So just so we don't lose this part, in case if user control doesn't work out, we can come back to this. So let's go ahead and create another main window. Add project, then go ahead and do a Windows. Go ahead and call it main window number 2. I'll just call it 2. That's fine. Not the. Let me just call it main window. That name just doesn't sound right. Okay, main. Let's call it demo main window. All right. So now we have a main window here, right? So I am going to copy everything I have here inside the demo main window. I don't think this is even the best way to do this, but just go with me here. Okay, so now we have that. So let's go back to this main window. We have it as width is 500 and font size is 24. Control C. Go back here. Control V. All right, looks good. So now let's go ahead and close out of our main window and stay with our main window. So go ahead and flip the screens to something that we are used to. Maybe I shouldn't have done this, but hopefully it makes sense. Okay, so now we are back to where we stopped. So now we want to create a user control that will take care of these two. and these two. First of all, create a user control. So go to add and go to user control, and we are going to call it you see as in user control, we'll call it label and text box input. Go ahead and create a user control add. All right, so that's our user control. And now we want to create our column grade definition. Actually, let me go ahead and do color row first. That's fine. Doesn't matter which comes first. So now let's do our row definition and the height. Height, here we go. So we want this to be auto. Then we want Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Don't want this to change. So, okay, let's go ahead and create our column definition. So we will allow this to grow. However, the second column, we will make it auto instead of star sign. Now let's go ahead and start initializing our labels and text blocks and all the fun stuff. So let's go ahead and initialize label. Give it a grid. Let's do a grid column. Let's go ahead and call it 0. Let's also put it at number 0. So now we want to bind it to the title. So we want this to be the title. Remember the title of the basically the level. Then the next level, we want it to be enclosed with a stackable. Let's see. So we want this to be grid and number 1. Number 0, right? Okay, that looks good. So now we want this to be, so this is, I don't know if you, so this will be the, let me pull this up. So this will be this. So we want this, and this to stack. And we want it to stack horizontally, not vertical, but horizontally. Okay. Okay, so now stackable. We want the orientation horizontal, perfect. So the first one will be a text block. Then we want it to bind to our element name, and that will be called the text limited input. We want the part to be essentially the text dot length. So it will constantly show us the length of this text limited input. Okay, so the next item we need on this table will be another text block. Then we need the text to constantly be the dash. Alright, we need another text which will be the max length, which we want it to bind to max length. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, so now let's get out of the stackable out of there and define our text box. So now max length is equals to our binding max length. So now we are telling the text block to not exceed that length. So now let's go ahead and define grade column where we want it. We want it at 0, then the grade column span, we want it to span to 2, and a grade row, we want it to be in number 1, and we also need the name to be text. So remember this guy right here. Control C. So this is how this knows the length of the text right here. Okay. So scroll view. Vertical scrollable. We want it to be automatic. Yep. Then we need to make sure we handle the tax wrapping. And that will be all. All right. And that's it, my friends. So the next thing we want to do is to make sure we declare these variables, which is the max length, as well as here the title, which would be somewhere here, binding label. Yeah, we missed that. So this should be binding title. All right, so now we will go to this code behind here and declare those properties. So the title will be a string. We want it to be title, and the max length will be prop tab. Then we want this to be max length. All right. Now we want to bind this. So this dot content data content. So if you look at this, get set data content element and participate in data binding. So this does the magic. All right, so now we have our user control created. I know it doesn't look like it, but we do. If you have an idea of where we need to be. So now let's go ahead and go back to our demo form. So we want to replace that control with this, right? Before we do that, let's go ahead and build solution. And if you notice, we are okay, perfect. If you notice, we're already referencing our namespace project first. name project, which is perfect, which is what we need. So for this, let's go ahead and comment these two blocks of code. If you comment it, it's gone. Now let's go ahead and import this user control into our demo main window, right? So right now we can reach this using this. So we can just go local and bring it in. So let's try that. Local. So now we can see that project, which is our user control project. And we could the name. Now we want to call it a name for our case. So we will just call it text user control, and we want to call it to file location. All right. So the next thing we want is to name the title. So the title will be save to file location. Control C. And our max length, what do we want our max length to be for a, no, that's height, max length. So for a max length for a file path, file name string, I'll probably go all the way to 50. That looks good. All right, look at that. Can you see? Whoa, that doesn't look right. I'm not seeing I'm expecting to see something here. So let me go ahead and build the solution, and see if it's able to pull it in. And the height of this project is a little off. So let's go ahead and give it a little bit more height. So let's do 500 here. All right, that looks better. All right, so as you could see, I fixed it, but I had to kind of pause the video to figure out what's going on. So a couple things that was going on was I had the max length spelled wrong here. So you might need to go back to your user control that we created, update that, and then update the, also I think I had the grid column different. I had it at 0 instead of 1 here. So check all of that, and let me go ahead. You can pause the video and view it here. So looks good. So now we are back and rolling. So now we have our control all taken care of. So it looks like we were able to replace this tool with just this, which is perfect. So now we can delete this, and we can do the same thing for these two right here. So let's go ahead and copy, Control C, then we'll go ahead and just replace this here and call it, instead of save to file location here, we'll call it entered name. Perfect. Then we can call the title should be enter first name here. All right. Then the max length, I will probably be at 20 here, or 15 actually. I'll do 15 here. All right. So now typically you usually want to build your solution for the user control to update. So when you build it, it should update. Now it's 15, so everything looks pretty good. Enter first name here, save to file location here, save to file location. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. Let me just put a column here. All right. Yeah, one drawback with user control that you created, you have to build the solution for it to update with the correct value. Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much it. So now we have our user control. We can use it in any of our applications which we are using on this project. And you can always use it, keep reusing it and update it to something pretty cool, and you can use it again and again and again every single time. So before we leave, let's go ahead and run this application because we haven't actually run it to see what we are dealing with here. So let's run it. Oh, this looks like the main. So this is the main windows. So we need the demo main window. So let's close out of this, and to get our program to run the main window, we need to go to the XAML and put in demo here, demo, and that should run the current application that we are building. All right, yep, that's it. So let's cancel out of this, open up this back up, and as you could see, if we start entering our name, we will show it changing, and we could maybe keep typing and it will stop. Like you can't type more than 15 characters, and you could back out and just have your name there. So right now we don't have any of these hooked up, and we can also type our file location. We can say first name dot text file. All right, so that's where we will stop at today. Hope this was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe so you can follow this series. I will go ahead and talk to you later. Bye bye.